Okay, in this lesson we're going to take a look at using cycles with animation layers in Maya to create a tail animation. It basically involves keying everything at 0 in the base layer, creating a pose layer for character above the base layer, and then building the layers of motion above that. So let's just dive in and work through it and see how we go. So first of all, I've got my rig here, which is just a really basic rig. There's no joints or anything. It's just these cubes again with their pivots shifted. There's a few little differences. I've locked translates on the joints of the sections of the tail that I don't want to be animating translates on. So it's only rotate animation for the last 4 tail segments, and then at the start we have full translate and rotate information, and same on the master controller here for the rig, which I will key here now. So I'm just using Shift W and Shift E to just key translates and rotates. It's a really good habit to get into because it's nice and quick, better than selecting and opening the menu and choosing key selected. And it means that I know that I'm only keyframing the channels that I'm going to edit. So we're also going to have a look at linear cycles, which we haven't covered yet. So let's just start off with making our pose layer, which is just going to include all of the tail joints here. So I'm going to select those joints, click the little blue circle with the white square underneath it to create a new layer. I'm going to rename this pose. And I'm going to key everything with Shift W and Shift E on that frame. And then we can make our pose. Now, I'm imagining that this is like quite a short, thick tail belonging to a creature about the size of a baby elephant. It's a kind of dinosaur-y type thing. So I'm just going to make it all feel like it's got a bit of weight and it's all being pulled down by gravity. So it's all being affected. Even this one here, which would be where the base of the tail joins the body, quite heavy. So it's all going to be being pulled down by gravity. And you can see right away why you would want to start with a pose layer to help give it some weight instead of animating from here. You can see the difference between those two. Actually, just take this first layer, first segment of the tail. I'm going to create a layer with just that here and call it tail up, down. And I'm going to keyframe that on my rotates and translates. I'm just going to hit the play button on the timeline. I've made sure that my playback speed is in real time, and I have cached playback switched off because I want to get a stronger sense of how this plays back in real time. It's a very light rig, so I can see that. And I just want to see, I use the playing of the timeline to get a feel for where the up and downs are going to happen. So I'm thinking this is a creature that's sort of walking dum, 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 about that sort of a speed. I'm going to try every 8 frames. Oh. trying to work out my timing. Okay, that feels pretty good. So let's set this value to 2.5. See what that looks like. Okay, that'll do. All right. So we've got our up and down. Now I'm going to do our side to side. So just so I can get the maths right for this and not have to think too hard about it, what I'm going to do is copy these keyframes by just going Control C, Control V, and I'll paste right here on frame 19. I have my cursor. Now I've got this full walk cycle length. I can copy these keys again and just paste them straight onto the X channel. Yeah. Okay. So I'm also going to set them to 0 for now. Now that I've got my timing in place, I'm going to shift it this way, -2. I'm going to have it as 2 here, and then back to -2. We're just doing the side to side of the hips. All right, so let's just check what we've got here. Okay, that seems pretty good for now. And then the final keyframe I'm going to add to this base tail layer in my tail up and down is I'm going to do a rotate. We go here, -0.7 and 0 back to the pose. Okay. Actually, I want to drop this down to -7.1. There we go. Look at that. That feels nice.